Welcome to the Trade Talk Showcase on Brownfield. I'm anchor reporter Megan Grebner. With us is Jen Sorenson, President-elect of the National Pork Producers Council. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Megan.
Always good to see you. Too bad it's not in person this year, but I will take what we can get.
Yep.
All right. As we get things started, obviously 2020 is a year that it will not soon be forgotten for multiple reasons. We continue to battle, and there continues to be challenges related to COVID-19 and some spikes in cases and those types of things. One of the things the National Pork Producers Council has been very vocal about is the urgent need for assistance and the next round of a COVID relief package. Talk to me a little bit about why this is so vital to America's pork producers.
Yeah, Megan, you hit the nail on the head. This year has just been absolutely unprecedented for pork farmers. We've lost billions of dollars in equity due to some of the issues we saw this spring and summer with packing plant capacity lost and packing plants shut down. That was coming off of 2 years of being at the tip of the trade retaliatory spear. So some lost value and equity there in the hog farming sector. And so, we're still hopeful. There's another federal COVID package coming our way, helping to stabilize our farm sector. We're asking for compensation for those animals that unfortunately we had to euthanize earlier this year due to just the backup in the food chain, compensation for animals that we donated just to find homes for them during that shutdown effort. Additional funding for animal health surveillance labs, which have assisted some of their public health partners during that time period. Modifications to the CCC charter to recognize pandemic-driven national emergencies is eligible for funding. And, we're always big proponents at NPPC of, those additional funds and direct payments to producers, but without the restrictions. And so, they've made pockets of money available to farmers, but in the hog farming sector, only about 26% of those funds have been applied for because producers simply aren't eligible to do the caps and income payments. So we need to be able to help more farmers with those direct payments.
Is there also concern knowing that there's been spikes in rising cases of COVID, that we could see another bend in the supply chain, and knowing that's a potential possibility, how much and how vital that this kind of funding and assistance is to survivability and longevity for America's pork producers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't want to speculate about the future, but I'll tell you that we have learned a lot from this spring, and we've gotten better as a food chain and as producers. We've learned a lot about how to mitigate, how to adjust our production strategies, how to hold pigs longer. Back then we were scrambling to find PPE in the production sector and the packing sector, and lots of lessons learned there to help us be able to navigate through any future challenges. We're much better prepared.
I have to say, knowing that the adjustments that the pork industry made to production, and you've always been like a just in time, right? So like everything is perfectly timed out for producers to be able to make those adjustments and be able to pivot on the fly like that has been massively impressive to watch from an industry person, to just the capability of that.
I think it might have impressed us too, Megan. It was a strategy that we thought should work, but we weren't quite sure because as an industry, we've never had to collectively tap the brakes so hard on, a system that in the past has been so driven for efficiency and improvement and rate of gain, right? And so, hats off to the extension service who helped us, quickly pull together trials and data and information, to all of our nutritionists, to all, the whole industry for really collectively banding together to come up with solutions that worked. So real success story there. It really saved a lot of pigs from having to be euthanized.
Jen, COVID isn't the only issue that the nation's pork producers have been facing. NPPC is also challenging California's Proposition 12. So a reminder for folks who may not know what that Proposition 12 does and where NPP stands at this point.
Yeah, so Proposition 12, that's a state ballot initiative that came out of California that passed in 2018, and it's set to go into effect at the beginning of 2020. And the proposition language applies to any pork sold into the state of California, whether it's raised in the state or outside of the state. So it would apply to any producer in Iowa, the Midwest, or anywhere in the US that wants to sell fresh pork into the state of California. And, top line, it's requiring sows to have 24 square feet of space, which has zero scientific basis or animal welfare basis. And so the NPPC and the American Farm Bureau Federation have band together to pursue a legal challenge to Prop 12, under the umbrella that the state of California is really attempting to regulate business outside of its borders, and therefore violates the Commerce Clause under the U.S. Constitution. So, but California's got 40 million residents, and they love pork, especially throughout their ethnic diversity with their Asian and Latin markets. Big pork eaters love pork. It's a staple part of their main entrees. And so, really there's going to be a big challenge because only 1% of U.S. production right now under the current Prop 12 prescriptive requirements would be able to sell into that state. So we're going to have a real issue going forward with being able to provide California and California's consumers with pork that meets these requirements.
How is that continuing, the ongoing, and that fight continues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a legal case that's moving forward with the next steps, trials set for January and February of next year. So it's been delayed, but it is moving forward, and we are very hopeful.
Jenna, before we wrap up today, we've had a couple of less than great topics, or less than happy topics, but we are going to end on a positive note today. NPPC is issuing a Give a Ham challenge as we head into the holiday season. Hams are staple in our house. We literally have 3 that were delivered this week ahead of the holidays. Talk to me a little bit about what you're doing and how you're challenging folks to give a ham this holiday season.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can tell my excitement here. The Give a Ham is something that we look forward to every year, especially this year, just because it has been such I don't want to say horrible, but we'll say a challenging year for everyone. So, here's a bright spot to really finish strong. And producers love to give back. Give a Ham's a national campaign highlighting the holiday giving that we do into our local communities. And, so beginning here in the next day or two, you're going to see more Give a Ham celebration from pork producers and others nationwide challenging each other. So last year we had over 1,000 participants in our Give a Ham challenge, starting with A.V. Roth, our president. Then I'll take it on, and it will just blast out from there. So, it's just a way to celebrate and also collectively give back into food pantries, food banks, community shelves, and people who wouldn't otherwise have the means to have a holiday celebration. So, real bright spot for us, and we're excited to get it started.
Well, Jen, I will take you up on the challenge, and we'll get a ham donated to our local food bank here on behalf of National Pork Producers Council.
Love it. We love it. Thank you so much.
Jen, great to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks, Megan.
That's Jen Sorenson, President-elect, for the National Pork Producers Council. And I'm Megan Grebner on Brownfield.